It is time for another 1 minute market update where we talk about the two things that you should care about most as a homeowner. How much is my home worth today compared to what it was yesterday, and how long would it take to sell in today's market? Now, this month is interesting. We're looking at the stats from May. We're in June now, and across the board, the year-over-year stats got trounced, which is interesting. We've seen up and downs throughout the year, but this is the first time it has been just an across-the-board drop. There are two news stories that I'll bring up here as well. The first one is that the Bank of Canada elected to hold its overnight lending rate steady. They cited economic uncertainty, not really sure what's happening with the United States and all the trade war stuff. And of course, they decided to just sort of wait and see what happens rather than being a little bit more proactive, which kind of seems like what they've been doing over the past couple of years. And the second thing, of course, is that just last night, it was announced that the tariffs on steel and aluminum were going to double. Generally, just that this provides, again, more economic uncertainty for people, especially those that are in those industries, and there are a lot of them: automakers, fabrication, manufacturing, all that kind of stuff. But more importantly, it will mean that beer is probably going to get more expensive because, fortunately, we buy our aluminum cans from the United States, which is obviously the worst news to come out of this particular tariff announcement. And again, as we've seen, this will probably change a couple more times over the next couple of weeks because, hey, it seems to change, well, at least every couple of days anyway. All right, let's jump into the stats, starting off with Burnaby. Detached homes, you are down 3.3% from last year and down 2.1% from last month. New West, you are down 6.9% from last year and down 4.4% from last month. Coquitlam, you are down 4.1% from last year and down 0.8% from last month. Port Moody, you are down 4.4% from last year and up 0.7% from last month. Port Coquitlam, you are down 2.4% from last year and up 0.2% from last month. Maple Ridge, you're down 1.1% from last year and down 1.3% from last month. And finally, Pitt Meadows, you are down 0.6% from last year and up 0.5% from last month. Okay, jumping over to townhouses now. Now, townhouses didn't take as big of a beating as detached homes, but again, still down across the board, at least the year-over-year stats. So starting off in Burnaby, you are down 1% from last year and up 0.4% from last month. New West, you're down 2.8% from last year, but up 0.5% from last month. Coquitlam, down 1.1% from last year and up 0.3% from last month. Port Moody, you are down 1.6% from last year and down 0.3% from last month. Port Coquitlam, you are down 0.9% from last year and up 0.1% from last month. Maple Ridge, you are down 0.9% from last year and up 0.4% from last month. And finally, Pitt Meadows, you are down 4.2% from last year and down 2.4% from last month. Now, as always, if this information is useful to you and you know somebody that might find it useful as well, make sure you share it with them so that they can keep updated on what's happening in the market. And if you feel like it, hit the subscribe button too. We would really appreciate it. Okay, jumping into condos now. Starting off in Burnaby, down 3.7% from last year and down 1.8% from last month. New West, you are down 2.8% from last year and down 0.8% from last month. Coquitlam, you are down 3.7% from last year and down 0.7% from last month. Port Moody, you're down 0.8% from last year and up 1.6% from last month. Port Coquitlam, you're down 0.5% from last year and down 0.7% from last month. Maple Ridge, you're down 3.4% from last year, but up 1.2% from last month. And finally, Pitt Meadows, you are down 2.8% from last year, but up 1% from last month. Okay, finally jumping into days on market, or the median amount of time that it takes from the day that you go live with your listing to the day that you get an accepted offer. Burnaby, you're sitting at 16 days, you're down a little bit from last month. New West, you're sitting at 15 days, again down a little bit from last month. Coquitlam, you're sitting at 18 days, up almost double from last month. Port Moody, you're up to 14 days, about a 40% increase. Port Coquitlam, you're up to 15 days. Maple Ridge, you're at 17 days, so no change from last month. And Pitt Meadows, you are at 32 days, a 300% increase. Things are definitely slowing down in Pitt Meadows. So what does all of this mean? Well, it really depends on you and your particular situation. If you are considering making a move at some point this year, whether it's buying a first home, upsizing, downsizing, or whatever, there is a link in the description below. You can book a time to chat with us and we'll sit down, we'll talk to you, and we'll give you a roadmap to make your real estate journey a success. Right now is not going to be the time for everybody to buy or sell, but it could be the right time for you. I'm Angelo Manuciades with the Atlas Group at Stonehouse Realty. I'll see you in the next one.